Well, welcome everybody. We're just going to wait a few minutes for people to join us. We've got quite a few people, but some people have signed up and said they may not be able to make it, but we can send you a copy of this recording if you have to duck out or you can't make it tonight or want to watch it at another time. You won't miss out on anything, but we're really excited that you'll be here to learn about our introduction to coaching, life coaching workshop that's coming up and learn more. But please do use the chat box if you have any questions along the way. So we'll just see who's coming. And first of all, I should introduce myself. I'm Carole Ann and I run the Pure Coaching Academy in the UK. Over to you, Natalie.
Yes, and I'm Natalie Watkins. So I am based in Milan in Italy. So we have the same course on a Friday here in Italy, and at the moment in English, soon to be also in Italian.
Exactly. And yeah, we're going to have a third course in Italian, which is very exciting. The plan is, of course, one in every city and around the world.
Oh, yes.
Today, London and Milan, tomorrow, the world.
Well, in fact, we have people coming from all over already.
We do.
I've seen a huge array of countries of the people that are participating.
Yeah, we've had Mexico, Egypt, and we've had Africa with a giraffe walked past someone's window, Zanzibar, all over Serbia,
Colombia last year.
Colombia, France, yeah,
Brussels last time.
Brussels, Cornwall, Scotland, Ireland, yeah, Essex, all over the world can join us. The reason we have one on Fridays because Natalie is in Milan, but also some people just can't do Saturdays. They may have family commitments or whatever. So although it's a Milan Zoom, you can join. It's not in Italian. It might just be convenient for you to do a Friday rather than a Saturday. So just wanted to get that out there. But the main thing is you're here tonight because you're interested in the potential of being a life coach, and that is one of the most exciting feelings in the world. I know I've been there 22 years ago. It was terrifying. I'd never heard of anything like it. I just thought I've got to be one. They seem like masters of the universe, and guess what? We are. We're change makers. We make people's dreams come true, and it really is the most awesome job, career, passion, privilege. I don't know, you found your thing when you become a coach. And I've done lots of amazing jobs. I've interviewed the rich and famous. I was a fashion and lifestyle editor on newspapers and magazines, written for all the top nationals. But my life changed for the better when I became a life coach, because this really is a great exploration about humanity, what binds us, what makes us tick, and what you learn about yourself along the way as well. I never, ever stop learning from my clients. I have done many jobs. I have interviewed, as I say, the wealthy, the rich, the merely famous, and I've looked at their lives, and what makes them happy is doing what they love. And I think when you become a coach, you really do what you love. You're helping others, you're doing something with meaning and purpose, and as well as reaching your own potential. And of course, I would say that, but I am 100% dyed in the wool life coach, and I sing its praises to the high heavens. Do you want to say why you love being a coach, Natalie?
Well, I mean, I'd say, and it was an interesting journey for me because I had Carole Ann as my coach many years ago when I was working in finance. And, so I saw firsthand the benefits of it. And it was at a time when no one really knew what that was. So they were like, oh, what do you mean you're speaking to this person? But they saw my life improve dramatically. So everyone was after it. And then it wasn't until I moved to Italy and I thought, oh, I keep seeing that she's offering this course now. And it just sounds something that would be so me. Sometimes you have that instinct, don't you? There's a pull. You probably can't even put your finger on it, but you're like, I just think I'd really love that. And I thought, well, I'm changing countries, not going to be so easy to switch job, continue with the same thing. Maybe now's a good moment. So I actually flew back because it was in person. I flew back every Saturday. I missed one because I had flu, I think. I flew back and I loved it so much. I didn't regret it for a second. but I carried on in my finance job and was doing a couple of clients in the evenings. But I would come off that call really, star jumps and just feeling so, my cup was so full. I think I just couldn't not do it.
Mm.
It was I was pulled towards it, and so gradually left my corporate career behind. So
You did, and maybe some people not who'll be joining us tonight will be wanting to do the same.
yeah.
We get a lot of people on the course who do want to change careers, who are close to burnout or have been unwell through work, and they want to look for something that has more meaning and purpose in their lives. And coaching seems to be the next logical step. Not just a logical step, I think coaching is a calling. It's like it's been buzzing around in your heart, mind, and soul for a while. Like, I think I could make a difference. I think I could do that. I just want to say though, because I know a lot of people will be thinking, yeah, but there's a flooded market out there. There's so many coaches. No one ever says that about dentists or lawyers or bakers or hairdressers. And I tell this story every time I live by a little high street. There's 7 hairdressers there. No one else. I'm not going to live in this area. There's too many hairdressers. But they always say, oh, it's a flooded market. There's so many coaches. Well, there's only one of you, so you are your own unique brand, and people will buy from you. And when we train you, that you'll be, of course, a world-class life coach, and people will naturally be drawn towards you like catnip. But that's what people buy. They don't buy, and that's why the 7 hairdressers all work, because one does a certain thing. There's a different kind of trendy one. There's one that's kind of got a tattoo parlor in it. There's a men's barbers. There's an old-fashioned barbers. Everyone goes for their own particular style or flavor or whatever it is they're looking for. It's not a flooded market. In fact, it's just taking off. In America, coaches are earning $1,000 an hour up to $10,000 a day. It's taking off even more and more there. It's changing because AI is replacing jobs, but you can't replace a human being, living, breathing person next to you, helping you, showing empathy and helping you get over whatever it is that you're struggling with in life. You can input information, but you'll never get the same response of a living, breathing person who's instinctively and intuitively on side with you. I don't think any AI bot or whatever can replace that.
But I would add to that I've noticed recently as well, people coming to me because they've been using AI like a sort of coach without realizing it. And that's actually prompted them to want to hire someone. So if anything, we're lucky in our industry that we might actually have help from AI, because they can kind of kickstart someone. It's probably similar to fitness. I'm not sure. I'm not, in that world, but where you're like, okay, that was actually quite helpful. And now I'm serious about it. So I need a person that's going to really be there. So I think that's a positive thing. I mean, also, there's a reason that we hear more about coaching now. There is a reason. It's because the demand has increased so much, because people are saying, like we only started really saying 10 years ago, like at some point in your life, most people get a therapist now. It's very widely accepted. It's now becoming accepted that there are periods of your life where you hire a coach. Okay, I'm going through a transition. It could be, we have people obviously that become divorce coaches, parenting. Melissa, who's focusing on millennials. Matty, who's doing adolescents. There's like you say, your example of the hairdressers, they're very specific needs for different people. So there's the demand is there, but we what we want to produce here are highly qualified coaches, coaches that are ethical. They have very strong skills. They are doing things in the right way, not a 24-hour do-it-yourself course, obviously, which is not the same.
That's my absolute bugbear, that people aren't trained properly, and it's dangerous out there. It's an unregulated industry. But having said that, because it's unregulated, when someone is looking for a coach now, they want to see you've been trained properly with an accreditation board behind you. And so that's why you'll get the business, not because you've downloaded a life coaching course for £50 and think you're a coach. People won't be using you for that. People are much more savvy now. And if you look at, I mean, I must admit, I do look at TikTok quite a lot. I shouldn't do because it's it's a time void, but an abyss of time I lose going on TikTok. But there's a younger generation who are emotionally mature and emotionally intelligent, who are really hungry and knowledgeable about personal development. They understand emotions, they understand boundaries and limiting beliefs and setting goals. And there's a spiritual side to young people now. They want to kind of align what they're doing with their values. And that's, I think, is very refreshing that there's a whole new generation coming up who are challenging the norms, who are saying, I want more, and are understanding how they tick, how other people tick, how to make the most of their lives and situations, and how to overcome that we all have issues in our lives, things that go wrong, things that aren't working. They're turning to coaches. They're hungry for that. And whereas, you were saying all those years ago when I trained, it was crickets and tumbleweed when you said, hello, I'm a coach. Silence. What's that? People know what a coach is now. And, the coaches are for winners. Oprah uses coaches. Richard Branson uses coaches. It's for people who want to get the most out of their lives and to reach their own potential. So there is a huge market for it. And more companies are now having coaches come in. The NHS are starting to use coaches. I know the police force hire coaches. So, this has all happened in the last 20 years. Just think what will happen in the next 20 years. It'll be, hopefully every business will have an in-house coach, and most people will be able to afford or have access to one. But you've got to know what you're doing. That's the main thing. And we show you all of what you need to know.
Yeah, and I think the feedback we get is the best part of this course is you are doing from day one. So it's not, we're talking at people, we're giving a bunch of theory, there's lots of, studying of textbooks. It's, as we're teaching and sharing, you're putting it into practice immediately. So, we partner you up with someone before the course starts, and throughout that, you will be coaching each other. Also, during the course, there is always live coaching going on all the time. It's a really living and breathing experiential course. So if that's not your style, absolutely fine. We love that the people that join, they know what they're getting into. And in fact, we do this introductory workshop. We're hosting it again in July, so that people can see, okay, let me get a feel of it. Is this my place? Because we want the right people to come and feel good about it. And it is very much building your confidence as a coach. There'll be learning moments as, we're all coaching together as a group. We get people to come in so that you can coach them. So it's very much a practical course. So if that appeals to you, you're in the right place. But as I said, we actually have two, don't we? We have two introduction workshops that you can join in July, the next ones. And that just gives you, it's a couple of hours where we go through, we take bits from the actual course so you can see really what is this like. And we will get you, working with us, doing it with your peers in the group. And that's just a great way of thinking, okay, is this really the right course for me? Let me understand how it works. And at that point you can make a decision. And also if you come to that, obviously we give you a discount from the main course. But I think that's a good way to test the water.
It is a good way to test the water. And if any of you are thinking, well, it is such a huge step, it is a huge step and it is daunting. I remember being very nervous about committing all those 2 decades ago and like quite a lot of my savings. And I was like, I don't know if it's going to be the right thing. And yeah, but I think of it's daunting but exciting. But the little introduction to coaching workshop we do will really give you a lovely little canapé of what's to come and a little taster of how we work at the Pure Coaching Academy, as well as going away that same day with some coaching tools and techniques you can use immediately. But you want to be sure there are lots and lots of academies out there and schools and courses you can go on, and it's a bit mind-boggling. And if you're scrolling through and think, I don't know which one, The general consensus is people keep coming back to us for some reason. They say, I went past your website and it keep being drawn back. Now, you need to ask yourself these very simple questions. How quickly do I want to learn and become a coach? This course is 2 months long. There are some that are 9 months long, some are 2 years long. That might be right for you. Do I want to have an academic course where I do a lot of reading and essaying? There are lots of courses out there that require that you do that. We don't have that. It's an experiential course. You learn by doing. That's how I learn. You're not going to have a manual in front of you when you've got a lovely client sitting in front of you. We need to know exactly what you to say and do, and that's what we show you on the course. You want to make sure you're choosing the right course, and that's why we do this introduction to coaching little half a day. So you think, well, I'm really getting a feeling for this now, and trust your gut on this. And don't and ask us lots of questions. If anyone wants to ask anything while you're on the call now with us, please do. But don't, even if you come on the little workshop, you can have another Zoom call with us. You can just keep checking, because we want to make sure that people, when they come on the course, are really confident and happy they've made the right decision to choose Pure Coaching Academy.
I think the other thing I noticed last year from the introduction workshop was people also had a feel for who they would meet on the course. Are these my people? True. Do I have, do I feel like these are people that I could work with? Because you do become a team. So I think, last time there were a few people that were like, oh my goodness, I loved it, because I felt like I am in the room with my people here. This fits me. Whereas I remember I had someone who said, I loved it and I'm so glad I came, because I actually learned something that I can use. But I've decided to do an in-person one, where they had very much, obviously it was more expensive, but they wanted like one-to-one training. Absolutely. It's what we want, don't we? We want people to be in the right place for them.
Yes. Yes. And some people who came on the introduction to coaching workshop said, I'll join if I can come on the same course as some of these people. Are you all going to join up this? So that even in those 3 hours, there was a kind of, connections were being made. And on the 8 weeks, we cover all sorts of things, and we cover everything you need to know that is the core foundation of life coaching. There's nothing missing. In fact, there's quite a lot added in. We have someone who talks about using collage and visuals for coaching with clients. We have a neuroscience expert who comes in to explain what goes on in the brain when you're the coach coaching someone, and talks about neural pathways forming. We have a LinkedIn expert to show you how to harness the powers of LinkedIn, and there's a lot you can do on LinkedIn. And Mike is an absolute genius on LinkedIn and how to make the most of that. So it's kind of, we're very much committed to your success. We don't want to just say, right, there you go, you're great coaches, now off you go and try and market yourself. We'll show you how to do the marketing, the social media, how to create a niche, as well as all the lovely, lovely personal development tools and techniques that you'll learn, as well as a unique, excuse me, spirituality module, which we've added in, which is basically helping people who, when you're coaching people, it's great to have goals to aim towards, maybe a holiday home, a new job, more money, meet a life partner, live in another country, lose weight, write a book, whatever it is your goal. All very, very nice and wonderful. But it's also about enjoying life. That's the life of life coaching, and helping people really get a relishment and a wonderment out of life every single day, not just in 3 or 6 years' time when they've hit the big goals, because that's life gone and wasted. You can't outsource happiness to some point in the future when you have hit the goals. There's a kind of Pyrrhic victory if you got to that goal and it didn't mean anything along the way. You've gave up 6 years of hard work and slogging away, and it didn't give you the buzz you thought it was going to give you. So the spirituality module is about really, really loving life in all its wonderful, complex magic and simplicity as well, every single day, not just when you've hit your goal. And I have to say, the spirituality module is one of the most popular ones on the course, and it is unique to Pure Coaching Academy. We love that one, don't we, Natalie?
Yes, and I mean, that's always one of the ones mentioned for sure at the end when we say, okay, what were your highlights? I think because of the sense of, meaning in life, rather than, like you say, obviously we talk about very practical things like goal setting, setting boundaries as you would expect. But it's much more than that. And there needs to be meaning and depth to life.
Yes.
We can't just aim for the next thing in the distance. But yeah, I'd also say, like you said, the guest speakers, people really enjoy, and they are surprised the variety, because they are very, very different, which also gives the coaches, such a good view of how different people can coach, from someone who's a dating coach, a sobriety coach, a podcasting coach, collage coaching. I mean, it's really inspired some people to actually follow those paths, but also really prepares people on a practical level for having a business, if that's what they're wanting to do with coaching. Some people are adding coaching as a skill to their existing work, but for those who want to set up a business, we're trying to give a complete course here. So, for us, it would be heartbreaking if someone left and we thought, gosh, they're a fantastic coach, and then they sat there saying, oh, how do I get clients then? I mean, that's useless, for us. That's not what we want. We want you to leave like, right, I know this is what my branding is going to be like. I'm actually going to start a private podcast, and I know who to ask for help with that and how to approach it. I know which social media is going to work for me, how to get clients, keep them, use them in the future to gain other clients. This shouldn't be a mystery. So for us, throughout the course, we're obviously making sure that we cover all of that. People have different strengths, don't they? So some people know LinkedIn inside out. Often people think they do though. And then Mike is just an absolute whiz. And people are furiously making notes.
And it's all for free. It's all free. LinkedIn's for free. You don't have to pay, but you can really have a great visibility on there.
Yes.
Yeah, I've never had anyone, we've probably had nearly 300 coaches go through the Pure Coaching Academy. I've never had anyone regret doing it. And no, oh, I didn't really enjoy this course and I didn't get anything out of it, says no one ever. And I have to say, and I'll polish my nails here, 5-star reviews on Google all the time. It's just that, we don't pay them to do that. It's great. Apparently we should be doing a trust pilot as well, Natalie.
Okay.
We need to set up a trust pilot. But let us tell you a little bit about the mini half day, which is an introduction to coaching workshop. The reason we've done this is because you get a real idea of what the modules will look and feel like. It might be a decider for you where you think, no, it isn't for me, and that's fine. Sometimes it's good to close a door, isn't it, rather than leave it half open. People do that as well and say, no, I don't think it is me right now. But what it might do is say, it really is me right now. And it gives you a flavour of how we train people at the Pure Coaching Academy, because it's a unique way of training, and it's a very, very fun and enjoyable way. And nobody gets away with just sitting there like this taking notes. Everyone's head up, enjoying, smiling, joining in. It's a very participatory thing. So on that half day, what should we tell them about? What do we do on that lovely half day?
Well, we take material from the course,
Yeah.
so that you are really experiencing the course. We are not sat there talking at you. Again, it is very much, you being a coach that morning.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go through some exercises that you might do for setting goals with a client, and we will get you to immediately start coaching. We'll put you into pairs. We'll give you exercises to use on each other, because the most valuable thing we can give you is experiencing how effective coaching is and being able to understand how to use it. That's it always opens people's eyes. And we get people on who work for the NHS, work in caring professions already. We often have therapists even, who are still like, gosh, it just seems so simple, but it's so powerful. So I know, we talk about that. Obviously, we cover values, which is a really, essential topic. But again, we dive into that and take a piece from the course and get you to experience how we will cover that in the course, and how we work together. I think also the workshop, in my mind, it's a good idea. One of the reasons we proposed it was because some people who maybe feel a bit more introverted aren't sure, like, oh, how am I going to feel with all these people having to put myself out there. So it might give you a bit of confidence because you
Mm.
realize that the group is always, I mean, Carole Ann and I say, how are we so lucky that we always have a lovely, warm group? Everyone's very welcoming, make each other feel comfortable. And so that might be the little bit you need to feel confident to come.
Mm.
And equally, we have so many people say, I actually was thinking about this for 2 years before I signed up, and I wish I'd done it sooner. So we said, okay, let's give them a taster because that will help them see, should I be doing this course or another course? Okay, I'm going to sign up. And you don't waste time thinking and
I,
thinking.
I'm glad that you reminded me that people are thinking, is it going to be me? I'm an introvert. What if it's all very shouty people? No, we're not. We're not Anthony Robbins. We're not Tony Robbins. We're not kind of, hey, American culture. It's all we're mostly introverts, actually. I call myself an intro diva because I'm introverted but a bit of a diva. But no, most people who come on the course are quiet, lovely, considered, empathetic, sympathetic, wise guys and girls who've already got a natural flair for helping others. And now they might want to add a little bit of an invoice at the end of that God-given skill. So we show you how to be professional coaches, but on that half day, you will go away. Most people say, I'm flying now. Even it's 12:30 because we finished the course at 1 o'clock. I'm flying now. This is it. This is the thing I want to do. And there's a lovely feeling about that, the certainty of a future, the certainty of a direction. Finally, you've got clarity. And clarity makes all the fog go away. And right, now I know. I'm on the right path. And that's a lovely feeling. Another common phrase we hear of students on the course is, I found my tribe at last. And you might not think there is such a thing, because one person said, I've never found a tribe. I've always been a loner and I haven't liked it, but I've always been very much an outsider. I have found the tribe now. And the reason what unites them is a desire to be of service, to do something of meaning and to make a difference in other people's lives, and to use your talents of empathy, instinct, intuition, and kindness to make the world a bit of a better place, but in a professional way. Coaches are game changers. We make incredible things happen. We make dreams come true. So we want to show you how to do that really well.
Yes. And I mean, it does make a big difference having the community, because we have a catch-up call once a month. And, it's such a lovely moment where people are sharing any frustrations they've got, any breakthroughs they've had, and maybe a client that they want to talk about, anonymously, because they've grown in something themselves, or they're saying they're a bit stuck. And for us, I mean, it's a joy because we start to see everyone coaching each other, and we say, look how great you are now. But it avoids that, singular, I'm coaching me, it's me, myself, and I on my team. Your HR, your finance, your everything. You actually have a team. You have peers. So I think that's an important thing to think about, that you don't want to just always be you and your client or you and your group of clients. It's very nice to have other people that you can talk to. We have that, once a month, but obviously we see our groups have their own WhatsApp group, and they carry on talking to each other for years after.
We're also doing a special offer. You can bring a friend if you've got a friend who's halfway interested, or you want to bring a buddy. We'll give the half price, a second ticket at half price. So, actually coaches do set up businesses with a partner, and some of our coaches have set up businesses together. And that's great as well. So if you've got a friend who also might, she might be interested, he might be interested, or he's just come back from traveling, he doesn't know what to do, he's stuck in his parents' loft conversion, or I'm coming out of maternity leave, and so are my friends. Maybe a couple of us could come along, or coming up to early retirement. Think about it. Bring a friend along if you're feeling like, we could do a bit of companionship on this, and the second person comes in at half price, so you can share the cost there. The more the merrier.
Yes. It's a pleasure for us.
It's a pleasure. I mean, I have to say, when you become a coach, you don't work again. You're just, every day is a pleasure. I've worked with actors and they say, so I don't need to find my dream job. I've got my dream job. I just don't get to do it enough. I'm always having to rest in between roles. And it's the same with coaching. You will have found your dream job. You will be like, I found my thing now. And it'll beam off you. And everyone, and we've had this before, people say who've been on the course, what has happened to you over the last 8 weeks? And remember one of your
Yes.
students,
Yeah.
a mother of six, who, she had a complete and utter transformation. And people were actually saying, what? Wow, you're kind of glowing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unavoidable that it's a two-in-one course. So yes, you're training in the coaching skills, but you have to go through being coached yourself. Because if you are sat across someone, you need to be understanding what they're going to be feeling or questioning or going through. And that will make you a infinitely better coach, having lived through this coaching. So people absolutely, often we have people starting at the beginning a bit timidly, and at the end, wearing something really lovely. Maybe quite a few have haircuts quite often, I
Yep.
notice,
Yeah.
and they're glowing, they're confident because they've also had a kind of a workshop on themselves almost, I would say.
Well, you're being coached for 8 weeks as well. So you
Yeah.
will 100%, I guarantee you, come out of the end of those 8 weeks a different person, a much, much wiser, more glowy, more positive, more confident person. You just will, by osmosis, if nothing else. I'm just wondering, we're coming to the end now. Has anyone got any burning questions to go in the chat box?
Yeah, we've got one more. I mean, I think we've answered the ones that we were emailed, but there's Jan saying, I'm wondering if you can please explain the difference between a life coach and a mentor.
Well, a mentor is, say, if you joined a law firm and you were young, a young graduate, and you were starting out in a law company, you might have a senior partner mentor you as you go up the career ladder. There's someone who's in the same profession who's able to oversee your professional career steps and advise and take you under the wing and show you the ropes because they've been there before you. So a mentor generally is someone who's kind of trod the same path. Whereas coaches, we don't need to have, I've had a quantum physicist that I coached once, and I don't need to know about quantum physics to be her coach. All I'm coaching is the human being in front of me and helping that person get over whatever that particular issue is that they have or reach that goal. That's who we coach, is the human being in front of us. So I don't have to have any previous knowledge of science or their profession, whether they're a lawyer, teacher, actor, footballer. I've coached footballers, I've coached a composer, I've coached a conductor, a concert pianist, supermodel. I've coached so many different people. All I'm coaching is the human being, not the job. Unless they need a mentor, then they'd go to someone in a model agency, or they'd go to their showbiz agent if it was an actor. They don't need me for that. They need me for the emotional or personal private conversations about where they want to get to in life. So that, I think that's the difference, is the mentor is generally someone who's trod the same path as you.
And I mean, I would say more often than not, they're giving advice, and we are not saying, you should do this next. This is your next step. A mentor will quite often be, like you said, someone more senior than you, maybe in your own company or industry, saying, okay, the thing I suggest you do now is take the next level of pension exams. It's an advisor who's got experience in your field, whereas we are drawing out from people what is already there. They already know the answers.
It's a really good question I'm going to ask everybody who's on the call tonight. Have you ever given anyone some really amazing advice? Really amazing advice, and they don't take it. They don't take the advice. Well, they don't, do they? People don't. Your best friend who's crying over a Tinder date that's gone bad, or mum, can you help me with this? Or someone give them some really amazing, really hot advice. No, I didn't do that after all. Okay. Well, as coaches, we don't give advice. What we do is we coach the person to find their own solutions. And that's why it's so super powerful. You may have the best advice in the world to give to someone, but they need to find their own answers. And that's what coaches do. We don't give advice, but it's even more empowering than that. You could see the penny drop on clients' faces when they have that aha moment. I've got it. I now know. That's much better than giving uncalled for advice that they're not going to action any day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think there was, oh, maybe there is. Okay. Yes, and they were just asking, will I receive more information from you via email after the webinar?
Well, there is a booking link, isn't there? And there's a lot on there. But I mean, on Friday, I'm going to be doing a newsletter from my Wit and Wisdom. But please ask us if there's anything that we haven't covered. There'll be lots of promos leading up to the workshops. Please look out or email us with any other questions that you wish to know. But the main things we'll be covering is the coaching tool on how to set goals, the power of setting goals, the importance of values, and just talking a lot more in depth about you as a life coach and the things you would be covering on the course as well. But those 3 hours go very quickly, and it gives you a real flavour of the kind of thing. Only in a little tasters of what we do on the course, but you'll certainly feel fired up and ready to roll after it, because it's very exciting things to know about life, how to be able to help people move on from what seems to be an impossible situation to suddenly being in flow and feeling great about life again.
Yeah, and I'd say, please, anyone that, comes away and then thinks, I've got another question, or if you want to have a chat with either of us, please, feel free to reach out. For us, absolutely, every question is welcome. So,
yeah, and remember to bring a friend if you want to. It'd be fun to come with a friend and discuss it together. Even someone who's got just the vaguest interest, we'll bring them along. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Hope that's given you a little bit of something to think about, and really hope to see you on the workshop. It'd be lovely. It's always a thrill for us. We never know who we're going to meet, how it's going to go, that everyone's got different energy, and that's what makes coaching so exciting.
Yes. So we've got the workshop, which is just a morning, 2 of them in July, and all of this will also be on the main Pure Coaching Academy website. And then the autumn term starts September, October for the full course.
Yeah, so you've got the whole summer to think, I don't have to worry about the rest of the year, because I will be doing the Pure Coaching Academy in September and October. So I can kick back on my sun lounger with my book, cup of tea or margarita, happy days. Life feels good. Not just me, is it? Have a lovely summer. Just know what I'm doing with my autumn. I'm changing my life and career for the good.
And making sure it's a great year this year.
Yeah, that's going to make a year. Let's make this year count, 2026. Blow away the negative news headlines. It's going to be the year you made it.
For sure.
Have a great evening, everybody, or afternoon if you're watching it during the day. And thank you so much for joining us. Again, please do email us, either of us, if you have any further questions. But very much looking forward to seeing you at the workshops. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, bye-bye.